Today, the 14th of October 2022, is the 170th birthday of King's Cross Station. And I have no video planned. This despite the fact that King's Cross is probably my favourite of London's mainline termini. I'd like to do an in-depth history of the station at some point. But for now, I thought I'd just do a quick video talking about why I like it so much. Put simply, I think the station, as it currently stands, is an example of modernisation done right. The station was opened in... when was it? Oh, if only there was some way I could immediately calculate the year it was opened. 1852, by the Great Northern Railway. It was the culmination of a long and bitterly fought war over who would get the East Coast Main Line into London. The Great Northern, with their direct route, of course, came out on top. King's Cross was, and still is, your departure point for such destinations as Edinburgh, Aberdeen, York, Darlington, Durham and Newcastle. So it makes sense that the architect, Louis Cubitt, went all out with this enormous Italianate design. At the time of its opening, it was the biggest station in Europe. In fact, the shareholders thought it was too big. When the station was first built, there were only 2 platforms with carriage sidings in between, which they considered to be overkill. But Cubitt knew exactly what he was doing. The East Coast Main Line was a hit, and soon those carriage sidings were replaced with more platforms. In 1875, demand for the station had grown to the point that they built a separate station, off to the side, for suburban trains. The 20th century brought a new age of glamour to rail travel. King's Cross was the departure point for such prestigious trains as the Yorkshire Pullman, the Silver Jubilee, the West Riding Limited, and, of course, the Flying Scotsman. Under the London and North Eastern Railway, some of the fastest express locomotives ever built could be seen here, from engineers such as Nigel Gresley, Edward Thompson and A.H. Peppercorn. Even today I get a sense of excitement when I step on a train here, in a way that I don't at any other terminus. Now let's talk a bit about the design. When you look at a station like St Pancras or Paddington from the main road, they're magnificent, but what you're looking at is the station hotel. King's Cross has a hotel, but it's off to the side. From the main road, what you see is the train shed. It feels like a statement. We have trains. Here are the trains. If you don't want trains, why are you even here? Unfortunately, some people didn't see it that way. Originally, King's Cross was directly on the main road. Well, not literally on it, that would be hazardous to traffic, you'd never get planning permission. But it abutted Euston Road. When St Pancras Station was built in the 1860s, the road was diverted. This resulted in King's Cross now standing a little way back from the main road, at an angle, and the station's various owners decided to fill that space up with, frankly, a lot of junk. Offices, shops, even a full-sized mock-up house at one point. Under British Rail, a very uninspired booking hall was put at the front in 1972, more appropriate for a town centre bus station than an intercity terminus. I could moan about BR architecture all day, and someday I probably will in the form of a video. But I think this photo illustrates what I'm talking about. Not only was this frontage ugly, but it became notorious for attracting crime. In 2005, a plan was approved for a total restoration and reworking. The old frontage was demolished, and nothing of value was lost. John McAslan designed a new western concourse that would be off to the side, behind the hotel. I rather like the design. It's bold but respectful. It preserves the old architecture but isn't subservient to it. The problem I have with a lot of modern architecture is that it sometimes feels that the architect thinks they're better than what's gone before, which this doesn't. Or at least it doesn't seem that way. I know modern architecture can be quite divisive, but my opinion is that it's nice. The new concourse also ties the main line and suburban stations together, catering for an ever-increasing number of passengers. And best of all, it means that the junk at the front is replaced with a wide open space, or plaza, as developers like to say, which allows the original design room to breathe. So, happy birthday to King's Cross, 170 years old, looking pretty good for its age. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a bit shorter than I would have liked, because I'm not going to lie, this kind of crept up on me. One of these days I'll have to do something more in-depth. Also, I just realised that this means I have 2 videos on King's Cross in a row. Whoops. Anyway, thanks as ever to my donors on Ko-fi and Patreon. You are the plaza to my train shed. And I'll see you all again very soon. Cheerio.